Okay, it's November 25th, 2016, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Tom and Joan Keohanes are here to tell us a little bit about themselves and their life. Good morning. So tell me, how long have you been married?
We have been married for a long time.
How did you feel when you first got married?
I have no idea how I felt. Very happy, very elated, very glad to be able to get her.
And Mom?
I don't know. That was 61 years ago.
That's okay. I do remember where he almost let you drown on your honeymoon. What was that all about?
Oh, I remember that. That was at the motel.
I jumped in.
And she jumped in the water, and I thought she knew how to swim.
And I jumped in the deep end.
And she's floundering around, and I'm standing there watching her, thinking it's funny.
And I was intolerant.
I'd forgotten all about that.
What else do you remember about your early years of being married?
Oh, boy.
You were in the Air Force, right?
Yeah. Oh, we met on a blind date.
And who arranged the blind date?
Set up by Bea and Fran. And we were just going to have a few days together while I was home on leave. And strange things happened. So.
Now, I understood you, Mom, were not going to go on that date. Why weren't you going to go on the date?
I was going to bake a cake.
And we all know how much you love baking. So we were all shocked that you would rather bake a cake than go on a date.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you thought the better of it.
Yeah. Well, I liked Uncle Fran. I really thought he was a neat guy, and I asked him if he had a brother. And unfortunately, he said yes.
Unfortunately.
One way or the other. So what year was that? Do you remember?
It had to be, what, 1953?
Oh. And you were married in 55, right?
Yeah.
So it was 53 or 54.
Oh.
And given how we all know that Uncle Fran and Dad always act exactly alike and look a lot alike, what did you think when you met Uncle Fran's brother?
I thought he was kind of nice. He smoked a lot in those days.
Yeah.
Smoked what?
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
Oh, I never remember him smoking cigarettes.
She used to wake up the next morning and say, "Oh, I forgot to smoke last night."
I used to take cigarettes with me when we went out on a date, but I never remembered to smoke.
Why did you want to remember to smoke?
Well, everybody was doing it.
Everybody smoked then.
Yeah. A lot of women smoked then.
Okay. So what were your dates like? What kind of things did you do when you were dating?
Went to the movies.
I really don't remember.
We went to the movies.
Did you have a favorite movie?
No.
I just remember hanging around in the saloons with galoshes and
With galoshes?
knee deep in snow.
Yeah, we'd go out on snowy nights.
So. Anyhow, after we got married, we moved to Waco, Texas, where I flew for the next 3 years and had kids. Well, just Tommy. Oh.
Now, when you met and got married, Dad was in the Air Force, but what were you doing, Mom?
I was working as a nurse in Texas.
Mm-hmm. What did you tell me about your nursing career? What made you want to be a nurse?
My roommate in high school talked me into going into nurses training because she was gonna, and then she quit and I stayed.
Was it a good thing for you? Did you like it?
Oh yeah.
Now, I remember you telling me about your ambitions about being a nurse.
What?
Do you remember you wanted to be a nurse in the war? That's what you used to always tell me. You wanted to nurse soldiers. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember. I do. I remember her talking that way.
Yeah, you always wanted, and you were mad because the Korean War ended before you got there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you went to nursing school at Our Lady of Victory?
Lady of Victory Hospital in Lackawanna.
And you were the president of your nursing class?
Yeah. For 2 out of 3 years, yeah.
Okay. And then you met Dad, you went to Texas. And what do you remember about your first pregnancy, first of many? Being pregnant with Tom.
I ate a lot of Oreo cookies.
That's funny, you're not much of a sweets person usually.
No, I don't usually eat sweets.
Well, we had, when Tommy was born, Aunt Flora came down,
Oh, yeah.
helped take care.
Yeah.
Jim O'Neill stood up, he was the godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Did he die?
He died.
Yeah, he did. So did Flora.
We all remember Aunt Flora very well. We loved Aunt Flora.
Oh, she was a peach. And that's what Jim O'Neill always used to say to me. You're a peach.
He used to say that to you?
Yeah, you're a peach. And he loved to go out to eat. And he was very fussy about his food. And he would send more things back to the kitchen if it wasn't right. Remember that?
I remember him talking about Tommy's eating habits when Tom
wasn't a year old yet. We had him in a high chair. And he'd call him a slob.
You used to call Tom a slob?
Of course, he wasn't a year old. He was just in the high chair and dish up his food in the restaurant.
Did he ever end up having children?
5.
So he soon learned, I assume.
He learned. Anyhow, after 1957, I got out of the service and went with American and came to Buffalo for the next, how many years. I flew out of Buffalo.
And you chose to come to Buffalo since it was your hometown, or did you just get sent there, or how did you end up back in Buffalo?
I put into, that's where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know any better. No, it was a good place to raise kids. I'll never regret staying in Buffalo.
Well, your family was there. Certainly, we grew up with the cousins and Aunt Pat, Aunt Phyllis.
Yeah, everybody was there. Of course, my mother was still alive at the time.
And Mom's over there making faces.
Well,
Care to comment?
That was not a mutual admiration society by a long shot.
Why is that? Why didn't you get along with his mom, and why didn't she apparently like you?
Mother was hard to get along with. She was very stubborn. And
And
she and I never got along very well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And her Uncle Fran had gotten married just a year before, and then the next year we were going to get married, and she didn't like the idea of losing 2 boys so soon.
I think as a teenager I gave my mother fits.
How did you give your mother fits when you were a
I
teenager?
did a lot of partying, and I wasn't a very useful person around. I was gone all hours and out partying. Didn't want to, always wanted to do the opposite of what she wanted. So it was not a good relationship.
Now, did she get along better with your brother?
Oh, she got along well with him.
And did she like his wife?
Yeah. Yeah, we were, I think we were kind of the outcasts.
Okay. Did that bother you?
Not really. I spent the better part of my life trying to be like my bigger brother when I was in high school, in grammar school, and it never worked out too well.
Why? Are you and Fran not alike, or you're too much alike?
It was not a mutual admiration club. It was a one-sided affair, I would say. I wanted to be like him, but he didn't want me around.
And how much older was he than you?
2 years.
Okay. So you were a pesky little brother.
Yeah. That's what it amounts to.
But now all this partying and the things you did that your mother didn't like, did Uncle Fran do that also?
Yeah. Yeah, but he, in those years, he got called up and he went in the Navy, so he wasn't around.
Oh, when you were in high school?
Yeah.
Okay. What did he do in the Navy?
He was on a destroyer. I don't know what his job was, a machinist of some sort, because he came home and that's the field that he went into. He was a machinist.
Now, was he in during the Korean War?
He was in, yeah. He was in the service right at the end of WW2. And then he was discharged. And then during the Korean War, he was recalled.
Oh, okay. And you were too young, is that why?
I was too young.
Okay.
I went into the service because I was going to get drafted.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I was, I've told you the story about wanting to go to GM Technical School.
General Motors?
General Motors. And you had to have a sponsor. And I got Harrison Radiator to sponsor me, and I went to night school to take a lot of math classes to catch up. And I was all set to start school. That Radiator decided he wanted to go. So I kind of got bumped out.
Wow, how'd you feel about that?
Well, I didn't think, I was very unhappy about it. The reason they said was because you're going to get drafted, so we're not going to send you to school.
And why wasn't he going to get drafted?
Well, it was all, he was a year or so younger than I was, I guess. But it was all just a way of getting me out of the way. But it all worked out well because I joined the Air Force. I was a mechanic in the Air Force for a couple of years. During the Korean War, they were looking for pilots. And I decided, why not try it? So I took all their exams and everything, and they gave me a class date of about a year from that time. It was about a year, I can't remember exactly. And I decided I wasn't going to take it because I didn't want to have to stay in the service any longer. But then, as fate would have it, my dad died, and I came home, of course. And when I went back to the air base, my orders were there to report
Oh,
to
wow.
training. They had moved it up. And without me having much chance to think about it, once again it was no planning that got me where I was going. So I decided to go to flight school, and I thought, well, I'll just go learn how to fly and then quit before I have to make a commitment. But I didn't. I stayed
Why were you going to quit before you had to make a commitment?
because I didn't want to spend another 4 or 5 years of the service.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to get out.
So you thought flying would just be a lark. It was no big deal. That
Right. I had no desire to, or not even any thought about flying for a career. But when it was time, getting close to discharge time, I was trying to make up my mind whether I wanted to stay in the service or whether I wanted to get out. I had pretty much made up my mind I was going to stay in. But Jim O'Neill kept talking to me about getting out. So I finally said to him one day, I says, okay, I'll go up and take the tests. And if I pass, I'll get out.
So what are the tests? The tests?
For the airlines.
Oh, okay.
So at the time, we were in Waco, and the school was up in Dallas. So we trot on up to Dallas, and I take all these written exams and have to get in the simulator and fly a little bit. And I passed and got hired, so I decided that, well, I'll get out and try the airline.
And so did Jim.
Huh?
Jim O'Neill, so did he.
Yeah, just Jim and I both got out.
You both went to American?
Yeah. Well, in fact, another friend, Jack Morrell, the three of us went with American.
Ah, I remember Jack Morrell very well. So what were you thinking you were going to do before you ended up stumbling into flying?
I had absolutely no idea. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had thought about, if I would have stayed in the service, I probably would have gone to college or something through the Air Force. Because in the Air Force, if you want to make a career, you got to have an education.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you get stuck.
And they made you an officer when you went to pilot training, even
Yeah.
though, right, you had not had a degree?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was kind of funny because as a mechanic, I was hanging around with some guys of, well, I don't know if you call it shady character. They weren't of the highest caliber. And we'd go out at night, Friday nights, and invariably they'd end up in fights. But I was pretty close with them. But then after I got my wings and my bar, second lieutenant, I went and saw them. They wouldn't even talk to me.
Really?
Yeah. They had nothing to do with an officer.
Oh my gosh. What'd you think about that? Surprise you?
I was kind of so shocked at the way they treated me. Talk about hardcore.
Wow, I guess. So you couldn't go out and get in bar fights anymore now that you were an officer, huh?
Nope, couldn't do that. That would have been a bad way to stay. That would lead to no good. So, anyhow, that's about it. I stayed in Buffalo for many years until they closed the base in 1980. I think 83, I think they closed the base.
Yeah. It was after I had left, so it was in the early 80s.
So I commuted to Chicago for a little while, and then moved out here. Flew out to LA for a while, and then on to Dallas for a while. Retired in 1989. So
So your life turned out not at all how you thought. What did you expect to do with your life, and did your life turn out like what you expected?
Well, I imagined me just running the wards for many years, nursing.
So you liked nursing a lot.
Yeah.
So did you never think you'd get married? Did you ever plan to have kids? Did you ever think about what did you expect your life to be like?
Just running the wards, nursing. I never thought about getting married or having kids.
Okay. And you came from a small family.
One brother, 10 years older.
Okay. And your mom and dad, tell us about them.
My mother, her name was Elizabeth, and her mother was named Susan, and her maiden name was Leslie. Elizabeth Leslie and Grandma's Susan Leslie, and Grandpa was Jim Leslie. He was
You were going to be either a Susan or a Barbara.
Oh yeah? How did I end up Susan instead of Barbara?
I guess because of the connection to her.
yeah, those were my two favorite names, Susan and Barbara.
And you kept trying for that Barbara.
Yeah.
Never got the Barbara.
No, never got. But I'm just as glad I like my boys.
But she was a stark Catholic at that time. There was no fooling around.
No birth control, no.
No birth control in this family.
Yeah. So you were raised, actually you were both raised Catholic, but I've always thought you were raised a much more stringent Catholic. Is that right, Mom?
Oh yeah, my mother was president of the Ladies' Sodality at the church and very active in all the organizations of the church, the parish. Yeah, in fact, we have pictures on the wall, not pictures of relatives or the children or us or anything. My mother had all pictures of the popes and the saints and
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, I can remember seeing all those popes and saints lining the. Yeah, that was.
And you both went to Catholic schools growing up, right?
I went to Catholic school till 3rd grade, I think.
Oh, so you didn't go all the way through. I knew you didn't go to Catholic high school, but I thought you went through grade school, but no.
Well, they tried to keep me in the Catholic school, but I kept fighting. I finally convinced my mother to let me go to public school.
And it took all the way to 3rd grade. Why did you want to go to public school so bad?
Well, it was, for one thing, it was closer. I could walk to school. And I wasn't a big fan of the sisters.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Well, they were strict.
Did your brother and sisters all go to Catholic school too? Or did they all move out when you did?
No, they all ended up in public school. Of course, as far as high school goes, it was a vocational school. Aviation mechanics is what I went to school for. But when I got out, there were no jobs in that field. Fran did the same thing. See, I was trying to follow his footsteps all along. Whatever he did, that's what I wanted to do.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that's what he did in high school.
Yeah.
But now you went through Catholic education all the way through high school, right?
In nursing school.
Oh, in nursing school too.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that affect your life? What do you think, looking back? Was it a good thing, a bad thing?
Well, it was good, I guess.
How much has religion played into your life? Like
Birth control.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
You can blame your existence on everyone to Catholic school.
Go Catholic school!
No, I was religious, pretty religious.
Yes, she was.
I used to drag all you kids to Mass, and
Yeah, I remember
when
that.
Papa was out of town. I can remember Bobby. Oh, God. I'd line you kids up, and Bobby would take people's hats. You know, they used to clip their hats on the back of the pews, and Bobby used to take everybody, the men's hats, and he'd sail them up and down the roof. Oh,
What else do you remember? Now,
I remember when we came going to Texas, I had loads of Christmas ornaments from my mother, and boxes and boxes and boxes of Christmas ornaments. And we didn't want to pay for the shipping of them, so I gave them all to Flora. I wonder if Tommy Calzone is still using them today, because they were really nice ornaments, you know, old-fashioned ornaments.
oh, I'd love to see. Well, Aunt Flora always had, and I know you used to say some of them were from you. All those German glass,
Yeah.
all those those were beautiful, yeah.
Mm.
I remember that. So how'd you cope? What'd you think about all the time that you spent raising kids while Dad was out of town? Of course, when you were home. That was a good thing.
Well,
Your kids used to be waiting on the porch when I get home to tell me what went wrong.
I can remember that. And Mom would be running behind us. Don't tell him yet. Don't tell him yet.
yeah, let them unwind.
Let me tell him. I remember that. Well, so we lived in the suburbs when I was little, but then what made you move out to the farm? Tell us about the farm. What do you remember about it?
I had been looking for a piece of property for quite a while because we didn't seem to, I don't know, in the neighborhood, Mother was always upset about the neighbors. And I figured that it'd be time to get a little space.
Oh, what were you upset about the neighbors? I didn't know that.
I don't remember that.
Well, I do. Anyhow, it used to bother me that I would come home and she was upset about this neighbor did this or this one did that or she said something to my kid. Or, I don't know. Anyhow, I wanted to get out of the neighborhood. And we looked for a long time. I finally found this place. If I had it to do over again, I wouldn't have done it because it was out in the swamp.
So you wouldn't have picked that place, or you wouldn't have done it at all?
I wouldn't have picked that place. I wanted to go south of the city. And your mother didn't want to go south. It was too far. I'd say too far for what? Too far from this. But I wanted to go down. I wanted to go down in ski country.
Oh, it's beautiful down there south of Buffalo. It's hilly and pretty. It's flat as
Yeah.
a pancake up in Clarence.
That's really where I wanted to go. But I couldn't talk your mother into going down there.
Do you remember, Mom? Why didn't you want to go south of the city?
I don't remember why, but I
It was
just
too
didn't.
far.
Too far. I wasn't familiar with that area.
Okay.
But we had a bunch of people down there. Orchard Park area. It was a little hilly down there, a little drier. Because where we were, it was pretty wet.
I guess it still is.
Yeah. It all worked out.
Well, we had a lot of fun there, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Is that it?
I remember.
It's up to you. If you go ahead.
I remember all you guys on the pond. I think the boys really enjoyed that pond.
At all seasons, I think.
Yeah.
And that little pondside inn.
Oh, Jack's Pondside Inn.
Yeah.
And we used to, remember Mom ice skating around and we'd all skate in a chain and you would sing, "We'll follow the old man wherever he wants to go."
Yeah.
The old Bing Crosby song. We used to skate around singing that. I can still picture you out snowblowing the pond.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can remember Tommy putting the tractor in the pond.
No, what was that? I don't remember that.
One day, one winter, he wanted to go ice skating, and he wanted to clean the pond off with the tractor. And I remember I was sitting in my office or whatever was there in the rec room. I said, "Okay, but don't go around the edge of the pond because the ice is too thin. Just push straight." Okay. So he goes out there and he goes through the ice. He put the tractor under water.
Ooh.
We had to go down a raise and get a big tractor
You have to pull it out.
and pull it out. We were out there in the middle of the night trying to get that tractor out of the ice.
Did Tom get punished?
Oh,
Wow. All right.
that's about all.
Okay, is there anything else you want to say? Any other things you want to tell us about? I'm hoping this works well, because I'm not a great photographer.
Well, I hope it works well too, because I ain't going to do it again.
Okay, good to know. All right, thank you very much. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. Thank you for doing it.